Welcome to Buddha's in Your Landfill, or Buddhism Plain and Simple. Now we've been fleshing this idea out over my last few talks. I hope you're following. And if you're just checking in, basically together, us, are in a what I call an insight dialogue, where we looking into some of the fundamental principles or truths of Buddhism in our everyday mind. And you may not, because these talks are just standalone 15-minute talks, and everyone is just coming in and going out. It's not like we have a consistent course here. It's kind of like I'm standing in the park on a Facebook soapbox. And so there is a theme here. Now the theme that we're working on, that I've been working on, is the wheel. So the title of this talk is Let's Reinvent the Wheel, because Buddhism, the paradigm of Buddhism is a wheel. If you look at any that, in fact, that is the symbol of Buddhism, is the wheel, and there's reference to it in the wheel of karma, the wheel of samsara, and the wheel of dharma, two wheels. And then Buddhism says the wheel of dharma and the wheel of nirvana and samsara are the same. The wheel of samsara is the wheel of the world, which is the Western view of things. And so let's take a look at a wheel here, just to reinvent it for a minute, to kind of like get orientated. So there are two things to make a wheel work. You have to have an axle here, and you have to have a rim. So you have to have an inside, and you have to have an outside. If you just have an axle, the rim, there's no wheel, just like a donut hole, there's no donut. But if you don't have the rim, you don't have a wheel. So each is different, yet they're both the same. In other words, there's one, but it's two. They are different, but they are the same. It's like the inside and the outside of a cup. I don't have a cup here. But you put the tea in the inside. And the inside is different from the outside. But if you take the outside away, there's no inside. If you take the inside away, there's no outside. So this is kind of like this so I'll put my little man out here, and we have a little man here. There's the inside and the outside. This is subjective, right? And this is objective. Okay. Now the world we live in the West, starting with Descartes and Francis Bacon, the scientific method, materialism, objective truth. Truth is objective. You can figure out truth by experimentation, coming up with a law or a theory, and if other people can reproduce it, aha, you've got truth, until somebody comes along and creates a better recipe. So truth is a recipe that's agreed upon through verification. If I discover a meal, I make a recipe, and I give the recipe to you, and if you follow the recipe, you can create the same meal, the exact same meal. You see, that's the assumed world we live in, and that's just the objective world. Here, anyway. So it's a world of things and laws. And this, we just assume this. There's no question, you see. But what's missing is the subjective center. You see, our reality map doesn't have you on it. If it's a flat map, an atlas map, everything is on the map. The map is static and you move on the map. So that's not really a wheel. It's kind of a there is an assumption that the world exists whether you are in it or not. The world exists as a space-time grid, and you come into it, and we last a little while, and then we drop out. That is the Western materialistic assumption of reality that has been dominant for 400 years. And it's breaking up now. It's not holding. The center can't hold because there is no center. And the 50s was the last time we lived totally in the objective world, like a passive consumption, a consumer of this world. If you remember early TV, there are 3 networks, 3 anchors, and there was just a flavor preference for either NBC, ABC, or CBS. But they were all reporting on the same objective world. And we watched TV, and we consumed it passively. We didn't interact with it. We didn't tweet in and contribute to the news. We didn't make news. We were passive consumers of objective news. But you were not there. You didn't have any effect on it. You couldn't change it. You couldn't add or subtract. You didn't exist. The passive consumer, the consumer doesn't act in the world. It just consumes it. And this was the worldview and the world we lived in the 50s and before that. Then it changed in the 60s. What changed? What happened? Suddenly the center awakened. There was an awakening of the center. I am. Now see this view here, when we live out here, which is where, see, we all live here. It's like living in a merry-go-round. And we go up and down, hot and cold, in and out, pleasure, pain, and I'm riding on a horse and you're riding on a zebra, and I'm going to catch you. And I go up, I'm happy, I'm rich, and then I go down. Oh my God, I just lost my job. And everything is going up and down like corks on a wave. Boom, boom. And it's going in a circle. And we assume that's the reality. So we live on this merry-go-round, but the center doesn't move. That's not on the merry-go-round. When you get on the merry-go-round, you're moving. Everything is moving. This is Einstein's theory of relativity. There's no place that is fixed. There is no still point on this relative world. There is nothing. Everything is moving. Everything is moving in time. Movement is time because you can measure it. How long does it take you to get here? 2 days, 1 day, 5 minutes. We can measure. I've been talking for 15 minutes. You see? And yet there is a dimension to this talk where there is no movement. That is now. So this center has been what's been missing from the objective, scientific, secular, liberal, empirical worldview that was created with the fall of the Middle Ages. Copernicus, Galileo, Francis Bacon, Descartes, all the scientific inventions. And they're so wonderful. They're miraculous. Lights, air conditioning, all of the stuff we enjoy. Our comfort, you see. But what's missing has been the center. The center of the wheel is missing. So what happens when the center is missing? Here's the ground. And the wheel is spinning off the ground. There's no traction. You don't feel like you're going anywhere. You don't feel like life is moving you. You feel like Groundhog Day. I've been here before. This feels deja vu. I'm in the same argument I've had yesterday. I'm in the same emotional state I was in when I was a child. Nothing has changed. It looks like it's changing. The merry-go-round is going round and round. It looks like I'm in a different city, I'm in a different place, but I'm still having the same argument with my boss I had in the other job. I get remarried. The same wheel, the same karma, the same wheel of samsara. The wheel of samsara, the wheel of sorrow spins, and we feel it not getting any traction. My life's going nowhere. I'm off track. The country's off track. Who made us off track? Obama did it. You see? But the Buddha, plain and simple, says no, it's not. You can't. The objective world, without the subjective, without the axis, without the center in you, is going to feel like it's spinning, 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 and never going anywhere. So Buddhism, plain and simple, is the search for the center, the I am now. And when we fall into that, you can't get it from the outside, because this center from the outside looks like a black hole. It looks like death. So we can't go to the center of me as long as I keep the me, the I, that lives on the realm as an object in a world of time. So as long as I believe I'm an object, a thing, a person with a history, living in an objective world of time, on a space, on a flat map, you see, I cannot find the center of me, because I would have to give up my objective belief that the objective world is the only world, is the only truth, you see. So there is the center then becomes a threat to this. So but I have to have a center, so where do I put it? Well, I project it out into time. And then I say, well, my center is when I get that job. Or Trump is my center. Or Jesus, somewhere, religion, somewhere. There's my center out there. We miss the mark. It's like the target is in here, and we think it's out there. Pooh. And we chase it. Oh, I've got to get to it in time. Future. We're chasing future. Spiritual awakening is the realization that we're just spinning. Something's wrong. I can't get off the spinning wheel by chasing time, because time is part of the wheel. So anyway, we shall drop it there. I've run out of time. Thanks for dropping in. See you this evening, 5 o'clock. We'll pick up the wheel and keep it spinning. Share if you like this on Facebook, and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Ed Conley at YouTube. Thanks for dropping in.